Hey guys, it's Discourse Miniatures here. Just bringing a mindless speculation video to you today. The Night Models have released a new tease on their Facebook page, as they are wont to do. So I thought I would have a look at that and just discuss sort of what that could signal. So they have put up a post just says we get a signal from the back home again, and they've posted up an image saying this is a quote from Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight. It's "Kill you. I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? Go back to ripping off mob dealers. No, no, no. You complete me." So it's the Heath Ledger exchange with Christian Bale Batman from the interrogation room scene, very famous scene in The Dark Knight. And as an aside, they actually posted up a video of this on their Instagram. They posted up alongside this picture that is sort of just this image with a glitches, but it has the audio track of U2's song "Hold Me, Thrill Me, Kiss Me, Kill Me," which is actually in the credits of Batman Forever. So, whether or not that's hinting at a follow up to the Jim Carrey Riddler that we had there in February. Maybe we're going to see Tommy Lee Jones, Two Face, or Batman Forever, Batman and Robin with the nipple Batsuit and Robin suit. Maybe, probably not. It seems more likely this is hinting towards something with Heath Ledger, and that's pretty interesting, right? Because I don't think anybody was really expecting this. I think everyone was sort of expecting something to come out about the Penguin. This sort of has come out of left field completely. If we look back at, let me see, it was a few months ago, Night Models did tease a Penguin card. It was just before the court. Yeah, so this was back in late February. They teased this Penguin card, which is a new card. And so I think that we all presumed that after, the Court of Owls would come Penguin information. But it now seems with this that they're doing something with maybe Joker. Now, that is interesting because I sort of think that the Heath Ledger box is an interesting place to go with if there is going to be some sort of update to the Joker, right? The actual box itself, it was released in second edition, and it came with Heath Ledger, Joker's bus driver, Happy, Chuckles, and Grumpy. And I reviewed these guys as part of my Spotlight on Gotham video. I reviewed them alongside Jared Leto, so a bit of a plug there. But what I had said at the time was that they're very competitive models. They work really well. They come with the backpack. Everyone except for the Joker's bus driver. Joker's bus driver has some other interesting aspects. He's a bodyguard, for example. But everyone else comes with backpack, which is really strong in third edition. It's a very strong keyword. Anything that allows you to sort of manipulate for free is super strong in third edition, just because suspect markers are so important to the game now. So, are we going to see this box set sort of recast in the new resin and re-released? Or are we going to get something maybe even a little more interesting? Because there has been some speculation that maybe, just maybe, we're going to see a new starter box. So, obviously, the starter box for Back to Gotham was originally released back in January 2020. And obviously, since then, it just hasn't been available. So Night Model stopped producing it. It's been basically impossible to find on any retailers. So there's been a really big issue with onboarding new players. This box had come with a really strong Joker crew, came with sort of a bunch of thugs, came with Joker, Harley Quinn, Deadshot, came with a really good GCPD and Batman crew as well. And it came, of course, obviously, with the amazing terrain, the Joker's Funhouse style terrain. Came with a bunch of counters. But really importantly, it came with everything you needed to play the game, right? So it came with the suspect markers, including ones with like the Joker teeth and the snitch on the back. It came with the plot cards, came with the Joker plot cards, came with the Batman plot cards, came with the neutral plot cards, came with decks, really importantly, came with generic decks. It came with 2 copies of the generic decks, and it came with the Joker deck and the Batman deck. Now, since then, the starter edition has kind of disappeared. So new players haven't been able to get access to this. Means that they haven't been able to get access to the things like the generic deck. Means that if you today wanted to start a Joker crew, there would be nowhere, you wouldn't have a way to do so. Now, obviously, you can jump on the OneDrive. You can download the cards there. They're up on a digital format, but really, if you wish to play as the Joker, there's no way for you to simply go onto the Night Models website and buy a Joker crew. You'd have to buy maybe the second edition sort of Clown Party box, but I mean, that's not ideal, right? That's not ideal at all because you're going to have the second edition cards. So, is this maybe a way that Night Models are thinking about? We know, there's been a lot of speculation, been a lot of rumors that they are talking about a more pared down starter box experience, a smaller starter box. Maybe they are separating the crews. They're taking the Batman crew and they're taking the Joker crew and they're separating it from that. Maybe this could be a new Heath Ledger starter box of some kind. Maybe it comes with Heath Ledger, cast in the new resin, and includes the Joker deck and the sort of Joker plot cards. Now, that would be really interesting. Maybe it'll come with suspect markers with Joker teeth and stinky fish on the back of it. That's definitely a potential. People have been speculating about that. Now, I'm not sure how likely that is. The Heath Ledger box, they come to around 180 reputation. Obviously, standard crew size, 350 reputation. So, I think it's probably a sort of poor way to bring in new players is to give them basically release a crew that isn't 350 reputation. The Joker, if they were going to do that, I suspect that they would probably just release this Thug set, the Back to Gotham Joker set again, and put a new deck in that, right? And I'm speculating here about the Joker deck being released in a new box, but we haven't even seen the Riddler deck yet. And the Riddler came out in February. There's been no information given to us as to whether or not the Court of Owls is going to have their deck in their sort of box set that came out in March this month. Right? There's been no information on that whatsoever. And I doubt that there will be. In fact, I doubt that we will get the cards, Obviously, Night Models have had a lot of issues with getting the cards out to players. That's been a big, big problem for them. So, until they can resolve that, can we really speculate if they're going to be bringing out the Joker deck anytime soon? One thing to bear in mind, right, is that the Joker came out in the starter box alongside Batman. They came out in January last year. Since then, there has been 0 Joker releases. Compared to Batman, obviously this GCPD crew aren't available anymore. Like you can't get them in. Obviously the star box can't be bought. You can't get them. But there has been new Batman models. There was the Dark Knight Returns, and a bunch of new Batman models came out for that. You had the new Batman, you had Carrie Kelly, you had Oliver Queen, you had the Sons of Batman. So they came out for that. That meant that if you're a Batman player, you got a bunch of new content. Obviously, Adam West and Burt Ward Robin came out there. They're coming out this month alongside the Court of Owls stuff. So if you're a Batman fan, if you want to play the Batman crew, there you go. There's 2 new models, 2 really strong, very competitive, really cool models that occupy their own niche. Joker hasn't had anything like that. So is this going to be a Heath Ledger sort of just side release? Are Night Models coming out with the Penguin crew? They're going to do, maybe an updated second edition version of the Joker Batbox, the Penguin Batbox crew. Maybe, a new free agent, a new couple of henchmen for the Penguin, a new big base Penguin model, and then alongside that come out with this Heath Ledger sort of box. Heath Ledger, Chuckles, Joker's bus driver, a few new models. This is really weird timing for that, right? Heath Ledger's Joker, it's been a really long time since anyone's really been sort of talking about that franchise, about the Nolan franchise. So it's really weird timing to just bring it out now in April. But I suppose I guess why not? Night models haven't been known to make, the most cogent of decisions sometimes. Like sometimes they will come off with really off-base stuff like this. So maybe that's what they're going to do. I mean, we saw with the Court of Owls, right? They released a bunch of new models. They came out with the court, with Raptor. They came out with a bunch of new models, but alongside that, they also updated the second edition Court of Owls bat box, which was an awesome, awesome precedent. They updated the second edition box and released them with third edition style cards. They, these used to be second edition cards. These were second edition cards. But now if you buy the bat box, they're the same sculpts, they're the same models. Whether or not they're going to be the new resin remains to be seen. I doubt it personally, but they might. And they got new updates. And more than that, I suppose, importantly, more than that, this wasn't just a UI update. This wasn't just the layout was changed. They actually got changed stats as well. They got updated. They got a new passover. So the oil knife, for example, it gained crushing. So it got a lot more powerful. And that's been replicated across the board. So that was a really cool precedent. It meant that night models were willing to go back to older models, bring them back up to, up to scratch, up to the third edition standard. Is that what we're seeing with Heath Ledger? Are we going to see just new plastic, new cards, maybe get an upgrade, maybe an update of some kind? Certainly, while they are all pretty good, I wouldn't be against the idea that they might get a bit of an update in terms of their stats. That would be pretty cool. So maybe, and then if we see that, is there a potential that the Joker deck could be included in it? I mean, maybe, right? Maybe it is. I suppose until we really see that even the Penguin deck is going to be released alongside his new models that we know. I mean, we're almost 100% certain that new Penguin models are coming, right? There's a new deck. There's got to be new models alongside that. Yeah, so very, very interesting. There was also, I think this is a bit of a red herring, but there was a picture of Ventriloquist put up on Facebook on the 27th of March. Now, this was in celebration of National Theatre Day, March 27th, Theatre Day. The show must go on. So I think that was just related to this. Obviously, there's sort of like a loose element of go back to ripping off mod dealers, kind of maybe hinting at an organized crime link, but I think that's super duper tenuous. I think it's much more likely that we're probably going to see a new Heath Ledger box, probably coming in at 180 reputation, just like the old one, but with just third edition cards, maybe in the new resin. And that might come out alongside, Penguin and a bunch of new stuff. But, maybe not. Maybe they will be addressing the problem with the starter set this month. God knows lots of people have been crying out for new information, on the new decks, on the new starter box, on just to hear something from Night Models about what they're going to be doing. So maybe this is the beginning of that. But maybe it is just new Heath Ledger. I'm not complaining if it's new Heath Ledger, because I will buy that box out. I love the new resin. I like to get the new cards as well. I like to have the updated third edition version of the cards. So I'd be picking it up for that as well. But yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? Do you think that they're going to be just releasing the new Heath Ledger alongside Penguin, or could this be, something bigger? Because I'm saying that it's probably just going to be Penguin, right? But Joker never got a release. Batman got a release. Batman got the Dark Knights. So the Dark Knight Returns, Joker never got a release window. There was a Two-Face, in December. There was League of Assassins in March, I believe it was, of 2020. There was Riddler in February, Court of Owls this month. Joker hasn't gotten anything, and Joker's a really big crew. He came in the starter box, but we haven't heard any updates to him since then. So, and if this is just Heath Ledger that's being updated, if this is just a smaller sort of release, does that mean that we might begin to see some of the other smaller boxes? Will we see a Jared Leto update? In a couple of months, are we going to see the Bobby bots? Are we going to see? I mean, I know that they released Rebirth Harley and the Bud and Lou models. They came with third edition cards. So, are we going to see more of those kinds of releases? Night models have been kind of doing that. They just haven't really been advertising the fact that they have been releasing some of the smaller boxes with the third edition cards. A lot of them have been still releasing in the older resin, though, just with the new cards. So, it's good that they're updating it. But I don't know. It's strange. If they were just going to release Heath Ledger, this is a big a big tease of it. So I don't know. We'll see. What do you guys think? Do you think it's going to be a new starter box? Do you think it's related to that at all? Or do you think it's just going to be an update like the sort of Court of Owls Talents Night got? Is it just going to be third edition cards cast in the new resin, maybe? Hmm. Interesting. But I think we all wait with bated breath. I'm really excited to hear, to see what it is that they come up with. So until next time, good night, Gotham.